and you can check as well. Okay, you can check on your side whether you have gone live. Right? Let's see. Let me try and share a screen. Okay, go check your mobile phone. Let's see. Yeah. Right? I should think we are. Okay. Hang on. Okay, I'm just recording this as a backup, right? Yeah. Just checking that we are live. So let me just ask if, yeah. All right. Do you see us? I'm just asking them if they see us. I think he's trying to stream. I think he's trying to there you go. Stream. I think he's trying to there you go. Stream. We should be live. It should come up pretty soon. Ah, yes, we are live. Oh, gosh. Hi. Hi, everyone. A very good evening. If you can see us live in YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, just type, type in the chat just so we know. Well, I see myself in YouTube, so I know we are live. And for whoever's in on YouTube as well, please type and let us know that you're here. Please say hi, just so that we are able to see you as well. Okay, type the comments in there just so we know you're here. But I just want to say good evening to everyone here, and I want to also welcome you to our next episode of Career Success Stories. My name is Eileen, and with me here is my very special guest for many, many, many reasons. And I think for those of you who have read my posts, you would have also figured out why I'm doing this. So this is Yew Chong, and that's behind me is, all the pictures. In fact, I'm not doing justice by cramming everything together. And then this is me, of course. I am an organizational psychologist, I'm an executive coach, and also the founder of The Art of Career. And Career Success Stories is a means of listening to professionals like yourself, the career journey that they have taken, and we want to hear, what are the decisions, what are the tipping point based on where he is today, so that we can make better decisions ourselves. So sometimes all we need is that one story to inspire us to jumpstart, or maybe, reach for the stars. I suppose that's one way of putting it as well. And so, hi, Yew Chong.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hello, Eileen.
Hi. Yew Chong, I was like thinking, you're such a celebrity now. And, if I were to reach out to you, you are most likely going to ignore me. Because remember my first text to you, I said, hi, Yew Chong, do you still remember me? So I was so worried that you say, who are you?
Of course, I remember you.
Oh dear. By that response, I hope it's a good response. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, you were so helpful to me during,
Really?
during my stint in that company.
Maybe we should reverse the interview. Maybe I should ask you about me. What do you remember about me? But hey, I know for a fact that we've got quite a few alumni on the call and who are watching as well, Yew Chong. We've got people from ex-Reuters, all right, our colleagues there. And I've shared a few things here. I did a post on LinkedIn. I wanted everyone to know that I actually have you in mind, and that's because we've been colleagues, and I've been keeping track. Not deliberately, to be totally transparent, not deliberately stalking you or anything like that, but social media and the traditional media made it so easy for us to know what's happening. And of course, with your visual art that was publicized, we managed to know what you're up to. And I remembered texting you one time and asking you, so are you doing this full time? And you say, oh, it's just a hobby kind of thing. That was a long time ago. Okay, very, very long time ago. Um, I also wanted to invite, Yew Chong to come this afternoon, because this afternoon we had a virtual seminar for job seekers. And I've been running a few events for job seekers, totally, free for them, because I want to help the local job scene here. And so that's why I also reached out to Yew Chong, and he couldn't make it this afternoon, but we want to grab him. Yew Chong, right now, what's airing is actually the Olympics official opening. So we are fighting with them. Yes, we are fighting with them. So the key thing I want to ask you is actually more about, maybe you can tell us a bit about your career journey, and then the tipping point, what made you decide to go full time, if I'm assuming correctly that you have gone full time. And then, of course, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions like what success means to you and all that. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so this was the session that we came out of. So just happened today, make hidden jobs visible. And I thought of you because you have, explored the artist route. And it's not like you started from young, I think. You didn't kind of deliberately do that. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. And that's where you and I met, and in Reuters on 18 Science Park Drive. And I saw you there from finance department, and then next thing you know, you're a visual artist. So something happened somewhere. Yeah. So that's where I'm keen to find out more about you. And I've given Yew Chong actually quite a few questions. So for those of us who are joining us, please let us know where you are calling from or where you're watching from. And if there's question, please type in the comments field, just so we can see. Okay, just so we can see, and then we can respond to you accordingly as well. Okay, so Yew Chong, less about me, more about you. Can you tell us a bit about your career history?
Oh, okay. So this is the first question. Okay.
Counting.
Uh,
Yeah, first question.
my career history. Okay, let's go back a little. What I studied first. I studied science in secondary school. Of course, primary school is general. Everybody studied the same thing. But in secondary, I studied science. And then in university, I studied accountancy. That's why I became an accountant for 25 years of my life. And that was when I met Eileen.
Yeah. Don't stop at the part you say I was very helpful.
Until 2015, I dabbled more seriously with art, in particular public art, street art. That means painting murals on the public streets that everybody can see. And that was how how do I say that? Expose my talent. I'm just showcase my artworks to the world. And now, of course, with social media, it is so easy to publicize artwork. Okay. Before that, it's not to say that I didn't do any art at all. Behind the scene, while working as an accountant, I dabbled also with art, but on a smaller scale, on a more private scale. For example, drawing, sketching, and some painting, but the paintings were very, very few. Probably in a decade, I painted less than 5 paintings.
Oh, I
But
see.
the art is not just pertaining to visual arts, like painting and drawing. I also dabble with animation and video making. So
Mm.
I think ex-Reuters colleagues will know I also make videos because I made several videos while I was with Reuters.
Yes. Ah,
Remember
yeah.
the Avatar show?
Yeah, indeed, indeed. I will never forget that one. Oh my gosh. Wow.
So that
Yeah.
was
So,
what I did. And then in 2015, after I was actually taking a break, just a short break, a
right.
few months after my visa stint. I did some murals on the street, and surprisingly, they were well received. And thereafter, I got lots of commissioned works, invitations to paint on properties for organizations and even businesses.
Right.
But I had to return to work in 2016 after the break.
So I'm going to just share your journey as I extracted from LinkedIn, because
I,
LinkedIn,
I don't use LinkedIn anymore.
I know you had like less than
Common.
1,000 followers on LinkedIn. I'm like, is that possible?
I don't use LinkedIn.
I know. Yeah. And also for those of us who are not aware, so I know Yew Chong, you've got like maybe about 5,000 followers on Facebook, but in Instagram, where it rightly should be as well, you posted a lot of your paintings. Instagram, you've got
No,
more than
actually,
10,000, right?
I don't really post very often. Like sometimes for 2 weeks, I don't post anything.
Oh, I see. Okay, you call that infrequent. That's very good. I probably my gap is in years. Yew Chong, I just want to say you've got a lot of comments, a lot of supporters on YouTube. So Aisha says hi. If you can see her comment there on
Actually, I
in
can't see anything. I only see your screen.
do
With,
you have okay on your mobile phone you can see also. Okay, so Aisha
doesn't
says
matter.
hi. Yeah, Sarah Chan says hi. Chimin, yeah, Stanley also says hi, and yeah, Michael also says hi. That's wonderful. You've got quite a few people here. So audience, you can type your question. I've got a lot of questions for him. I've just sent him my list of questions, but for the sake of everyone, yeah, this is what I've listed down. Um, you spent about 5 years in Thomson Reuters, and then you left to join Visa. It's nothing to do with your painting, right?
Huh?
Yeah. When you left Thomson Reuters to join Visa, right?
Hmm.
It's got nothing to do with your painting, right?
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah. I think you left at the time where just slightly is about maybe similar time, maybe 1 year before I left,
Hmm.
or maybe around the same time as well. And then we kind of went different paths.
Hmm.
Um, and then from Visa, you actually moved on to Informa. Are you still actively helping Informa today?
No.
Okay, okay. So then you have gone actually full time. So the key thing is the tipping point,
More
right?
time.
Sorry?
More time.
Okay. So, what was the tipping point? How much time do you spend on creating new drawings? How much time you spend on if you do help on a pro bono basis or on a contract basis on the finance side, do you still do any finance work?
Sorry. Do you mind just close this screen first so you look full screen? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Your question again?
So the question is, are you still doing any finance work?
Um, no, I don't do any more finance work for companies, but I helped out with finance and advisory for Nature Society.
Mm.
But lately, I also kind of tail off. I used to be more active. I was the treasurer for Nature Society
Right.
for several years. I
Okay.
helped.
Are you worried that you are out of touch in the finance field?
Sorry?
Will you be worried that you're out of touch in the finance field?
No, I don't think I will be going back to finance.
So who cares, right?
No, but I try to upkeep my CPA by, and that means I am required to attend CPE. So in a way, through CPE, I get updated.
Okay. So you do keep your hours there.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So
It's a professional, how do you say? It's a professional certification, so it's good to keep.
yeah, it's a bit like having been a pilot, you have to keep your hours as well, right? Yeah. And also for project managers. Cool. Very nice. Okay. So how busy are you? Well, I know for a fact because it's so hard to get you. And that's why we agreed, whatever timing you have, we'll just grab you and interview and have a chat with you as well. It's really nice to see you because you are still the same, still very, cheerful. And okay, so let's go to my first question, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was a warm-up question. Yeah. Okay. Was being a visual artist your dream job?
Uh, I didn't really have a dream job in mind. Um, I am a little old-fashioned. In the old days, you studied and then you do what you studied and you try to enjoy it. And I enjoyed it. So whatever I did, it was my dream job. And at that time, to be practical, I've never thought of becoming an artist.
Hmm.
I think many of us will agree. I mean, my peers of this age would agree. When you study in the 80s,
Yeah,
art is
I know.
really is an option.
Yeah.
But now it's different. Now, with so many options, and being an artist is one of them. I think the youngsters today, many have chosen to be an artist.
Yeah. And artists can come in many forms, right?
Yeah.
Especially personal branding. And social media actually make this so much easier for us to brand ourselves. Yeah.
We have many things,
Hmm.
new technologies too. I think some of my ex-colleagues will know I like to make film. So actually, if you say my dream job, I can say, which I haven't achieved, I want to be a filmmaker one day.
Oh, okay. Now we know. Now we know. It's in line with that the avatar thingy. Yes, it's in line with that. Okay. And so my follow-up question is more, did you kind of already know that you have a knack for it? I know just now you mentioned about going out there and painting the streets and you didn't get caught for
No, I actually knocked on several doors near my neighborhood and to get permission from the owner to paint on the house walls. Luckily, one of the owners allowed me to paint. But not just that, we together, that means the owner and I, have to apply for permission from the URA, the Urban Development Authority, the government agency, before we can paint on the wall. So we actually go by the books, just like accountants. We have to follow the rules.
Right.
There's nothing to be caught. We did everything legally.
Everything very legally. Yes.
Except that when we submitted the sketch for approval, it was one sketch, but when I painted it, we added lots of things that were not in the sketch. But URA, after looking at the outcome, they were happy.
Right, right. So you added a bit more flair, right? Once you
Just a
started
lot
painting.
more.
A lot more. Oh, okay, okay. So next time if you send me a proof, I'm gonna compare the proof and the final. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's cool. So can I say that when you were in visa and then there were a lot of jobs coming in, that was when you had to decide, do I do full time or not? What was that the
No,
tipping
not
point,
visa,
sir?
not during visa time.
Oh,
Yeah, I left visa in 2015. After I left, then I started to knock on the doors to try to get mural out on the public streets. So during that time, I was even thinking, I had a small thought of, because by then I kind of knew that the arts were popular and I could have made a living out of the arts. So I even discussed with my wife. In the end, we felt it was too risky because our children were still studying and we thought that maybe I should go back and just do a few more years, which I did. So I actually signed my employment contract on the street while I was painting. The Michael Page brought the employment contract to the street where I was painting, and the side I was, wow, that was really funny.
that's memorable.
Yeah, so after I rejoined the finance sector,
Right.
after a few months, I continued to paint, but only on the weekends.
Okay, okay.
And
Right.
it was actually not easy.
Yeah.
I tried to keep my work and what I did in the weekend totally separate. But sometimes I don't even talk about it in the office. But I think my colleagues all know about it because the works are public.
Yeah.
Um, even my boss, of course, know because when I was doing the interview, my
Right.
boss even looked up and saw a lot of my, oh wow, I say, wow, you're doing all these things.
Compliments, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. And he still hired me.
She still hire you. Or possibly hoping for a discount or one of your art pieces. No, but brilliant. Yeah. And so because you have drawn so many pieces, which one is your personal favorite then?
Okay, mural wise, that means those big drawing or paintings on the streets. I would say my Chinatown home in Chinatown is my favorite because it depicts my old Chinatown home. And I even painted myself, my siblings, my mother, my grandmother in it. And
Right.
the structure of the house was very close to my childhood memory.
That's very cool.
But when it comes to like canvas paintings, digital drawings, digital paintings, I don't know which is my favorite because every new one that I painted, I kind of liked it, and then it just go on and on after that. There's no favorite. Everyone will become my favorite at some point of time.
Sounds like a parental kind of answer, right? We always ask which is your favorite child, and then we'll say, oh, we like everyone. No, just kidding. Again. Oh dear. I think our audience will be so irritated by me because I keep kidding. But then which is your first painting then? Your first one that you can say, was that the neighbor's wall? Was that the one? Your first
You say
painting?
murals? No, I painted my very, very first mural. I can't remember, must be in secondary school.
Wow.
Probably.
Wow.
Because I did a lot of all this for CCA, ECA. Even in the university or in the army where I was serving service, I was made use of to do all these things.
The way to phrase it, but
I feel complimented that, oh, okay.
yes.
Even the commanders in the army, they, oh, you can paint, you can draw, do this. And oh, okay.
That's cool. Yeah, you've got to have some skill
Backdrops,
being
schools, I do backdrops for dramas or events. I even initiated painting like a 50-meter wall of a swimming pool outdoor when I was the art club chairman in RI in 1985.
Perfect kind of role that supports your interests. Yeah, very nice. And so I guess what I wanted to know is, are you blessed with artistic genes? And I'm asking that because, as a job seeker, I'm sure sometimes we have some inkling that we are good in something. And so to what extent should we explore that? So anyway, back to that first question. Are you blessed with natural genes, in terms of the flair for art?
I'm not a biologist, so I don't really know what genes are, but I can say that because I am not formally trained in art, the fact that I'm able to produce this art to my own satisfaction and also to the public's recognition of the work is pretty good. So I can safely say that I carry some kind of inborn genes.
Natural flair. Yes, absolutely. And I suppose, do you sort of go on some kind of self-teach yourself, on how you can try out maybe different materials, maybe you change the way you paint or something like that. Yeah. Do you coach yourself, teach yourself, pick up some of the skills on your own?
Yeah, I actually now, in the beginning, I would say self-taught, but now actually I try not to use the word taught, but practice, observe, trial and error. Yeah. Because all these things, if you don't have formal training, which can be good and can be bad. So bad in the sense that you don't have the solid background and the history and the theory behind it. You just do what you think is right. But when it comes to art, I also think that because of my rawness, it gives that kind of a raw flavor that is some it's not my own word. Some people say, oh yeah, I like your untainted. That is from those standard way of painting. Yeah.
People like the raw.
Non-standard.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again.
Non-standard. Right. My opinion is not what it, let's say, a trained artist would do. For example, how you do the background and the brush strokes. I don't know. I just observe. I observe how people do. I look at the outcome. Normally, the final outcome more than the process.
Right.
And just try different mediums, different techniques, and over time you will just get your style. Now I look back because I only did this stuff public art for now how many years? 6 years now. And now I look back at my early works, I kind of cringe because oh gosh, why do I do that 6 years ago?
But that's one thing I learned from one of the listeners here on YouTube. That's what I learned from him, Michael. I remember him saying that when you want to start something, you just have to get started. And then one day you will look back and you will cringe at your original creation. And hearing you say that, is so reassuring, which means job seekers out there, if you have a tinge of interest somewhere, just go forward and just try, right? Some naysayers may say, oh, so horrible, how come you're producing this quality? But you got to start somewhere, if that's what I'm hearing from you, Yew Chong?
Or like interviews like this, going public,
Yeah.
being filmed for interviews, taking part in documentaries and shows. Now I look back at some of those that participated 6 years ago, how I spoke, what I spoke, I also cringed. But it's a learning journey. If I had not done all those things, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah, and for all you listeners out there, this is definitely non-rehearsed. Okay, definitely non-rehearsed. In fact, Yew Chong only look at those kind of glance through the questions only just now. Okay, do you believe that everyone actually can be an artist? Bit of generalization here.
Okay, artist is a very general term. The answer is yes. Anyone can be an artist.
Right.
You can. Anyone can sing. Anyone can paint. Anyone can act. It's just a matter of how satisfied you are with your own performance and
Yeah.
how you feel other people look at it. Especially when it comes to art, it is so subjective. Art is also about how you market it, how you overlay a story over it. Nowadays, when you look at a piece of art or a song or a show, it is not just what you see. You want to immerse in the story behind it. So anyone can be the artist, who also must be a marketeer, right? A creator.
I love that. I really love that because, today we were also talking about being multi-skilled in different areas, job seekers taking a gap year, and then some, have to pursue their, because of personal reasons, they cannot continue to work. And so they take a gap year. And then, when it's time for them to come back to the workforce, they feel like the market doesn't value them anymore. But actually we can pick up multiple skills. Yeah, multiple skills, which is very much needed today, very much needed. So because of social media, I think is a must. It is definitely a must for everybody to kind of understand how digitalization and digital technology can help us in any way, right? In more ways than one. Yeah. Okay.
And just to add on, many of these people who want to create stories and media like interviews, they are interested in my story of from accountant to artist. I noticed many people were interested in that part. So of course, I make use of it then. So my advice is
Right.
doesn't need to be artist. It can be anything, right? If you are an engineer, you are a carpenter, whatever. If you have two things or three things that you juggle and people recognize it, then you capitalize on it and tell that story. Of course, that story doesn't need to be 100% truthful. It's marketing.
Oh no, you're exposing too much about yourself. but that's being
What I
authentic.
tell is true, right? I tell stories of my childhood in Chinatown, which is another part that's linked to my art and my traveling. So I try to pull all my passions into a potpourri, and it sells very well.
It sells very well indeed. Yes. And I was so inspired by one of your initiatives, where you sold one painting and the proceeds go to funding some of the local labor workers, right? That really inspired me. That's why this year I've decided out of Korea, since we are turning 5, so I'm doing a few give back as well. I'm just trying to see. Aisha is asking you a very, very, I think, very important question is, how do you manage to look the same all these years?
I don't look the same.
You do. You look exactly how I remember you.
What I got fish tail. No, I'm already 52, so I know that I am aging, but which is good. That means I'm maturing, and I should look my age.
Right. Is everyone so positively minded in your entire family? That's so good. Looking at things, the cup is half full instead of half empty. Yeah. Yeah, I think Aisha asked another question. What's your favorite mural? I think you have mentioned, right? Chinatown
In
mural. Yeah.
Chinatown, in Smith Street.
Mm. Okay. Where do you get your inspiration from
For what?
for your art? Where do you get your inspiration from? I see you posting a lot saying things like, I'm thinking of doing this world series. I'm thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of
Okay,
doing
okay. Inspiration. Okay. So a few things. Um, let's start with the works that I did most, which are nostalgic murals or paintings.
Mm,
So my inspiration came from mostly from my childhood memories.
okay.
For example, my Chinatown home, my favorite mural.
Yep.
I painted my own home as I
Mm,
remembered. Okay, childhood memory. Number two is research,
right.
because we can't remember everything. So, for example, my last two exhibitions, I painted many nostalgic scenes and objects.
Right.
You would remember the dimensions, but you kind of remember, yeah, it probably looks like this. Then you have to do research.
Mm,
Even the history of places. For example, recently I painted Bangkok and Tokyo, and I mixed the old scenes and the new scenes, just like
yeah,
my
I saw that.
things I did too, like Kallang, Dhoby Ghaut. You had to research. You must be interested in researching the place, and then you try to imagine. Lastly, imagine, because imagination is very, very important. There are no photographs, or even if there are, they are black and white sectional photographs. So you have to stretch your imagination and juxtapose,
Mm,
compose all these interesting aspects of what you have researched
right.
and plus memories into a picture in your
Wow.
mind. So when I was painting a mural, some people are very amazed that I don't even like look at anything. I don't have like a printed paper or
Oh.
sketch. So I just start drawing on the wall because I register it in my head. Of course, for details, I will look at my mobile phone because that on my mobile phone, I will have saved lots of pictures of, for example, how a tingkat should look like, how Ovaltine can, how the logo, all this must be accurate, right? And how
Mm,
the washing board looks like. Those
mm,
things I will Google and then save the picture and paint where they should be. But the image is in my head.
mm. The question I've always wanted to ask is, when you draw an outdoor mural, it's so big, right? And yet, it is way bigger than you. And yet, the details that you have on each of that art piece is so fine. And
Hmm.
so, as you're drawing that particular part, how do you keep everything proportionate? That's my biggest question.
Oh, proportionate. Okay, most of the murals that I painted are life size, so it's quite easy. Don't have to use projector or even grids, because they are life size. Life size means if a person standing next to
Mm,
the mural, that person painted on the mural is exactly the same size as you, right? The
mm,
text is the same size as the actual. So you can you can paint it. It's up to about 3 meters tall, which is one story. You can just stand on the stool, you can reach it. What you do is you draw some outline and then you step back and you see if it is not straight or it is too big, too small, you just adjust it.
mm. Are you
But
a
if it is a big mural,
yeah.
um, actually I did very few. Okay, and one example is a three-story building in New Delhi. That one is big. So of course that one you cannot step on the stool, and then I had to use a boom lift
Mm,
to do that. At night we beamed it using a projector onto the wall, draw the outline, and then in the daytime you paint it.
okay. So, as you come up with the final painting, there's usually I can just envisage very, very plainly, there are like 3 stages, right? That's the inspiration in terms of the idea. And then you have also mentioned that, oh, you can research, look at the history, and then you can look at some of the uh, you will do your research as well, and then you can put in your own imagination to it. So that is like
one thing, experience also very important.
Okay.
Your
So
own personal experience. And that's why in many of my paintings, I put in a lot of what I have seen personally before. I normally don't try to create something that I've not seen.
oh,
So
okay.
many of my murals, for example, my very, very first mural with the ama washing the laundry, hanging the batik and the sarong.
Yep.
That lady wearing the white blouse and the black pants is a real person. That person has passed on. She was a co-tenant when I lived in Sago Lane. When I was
Okay.
a child, yeah, Maje.
Mm.
So she was a co-tenant. Even Delhi, you will say, oh, I wouldn't be familiar with India, even though I've been there many, many times. I love India. But when I paint that mural, large mural, on the first day when I landed in Delhi, I I took effort to walk around all the markets, take photographs of the market scenes, and then overnight quickly composed it.
Mm.
So it's an experience that is very important.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
You have this mental map of what you see.
yeah.
It's really amazing. Yeah. So okay. So my question here is, there's the beginning stage, which is the formative stage, and then there's the development stage. That means when you start painting, and then there's the completion stage. So which is the one that gives you the most high?
Most
That
what?
means most high. So which is the one that makes you really, really happy? Is it the beginning stage, the seeing the painting come into being, and then, or the final stage when it's completed? Which is the one that gives you the greatest satisfaction?
Um, I just like you said, the mom and dad question. I I don't really have the most high, because every part of the process,
Mm.
that's something that I enjoy. For
Mm.
example, um, even before people come or approach me for commission projects, I already walked some of the walls that are not commissioned and was eyeing, this looks like a good wall. Oh, that was then. For example, the Tian Hawking mural.
Mhm.
When Hokkien Hui Kwan approached me, I told them, oh gosh, I was already eyeing your wall.
I see. Wow.
That was the high. That means your imagination of what you could do
Mm.
on the streets of Singapore. That gives the high imagination. Then the conceptualization is also interesting, because you get to do a lot of research and learn a lot of histories and the culture of Singapore that you never learned about.
That's
And
good.
composing it, I also get very excited composing the scene.
Mm.
For example, some of my newest paintings, not of Singapore, like for example, Bangkok or Tokyo, the most recent paintings, those were painted of places that I have walked the grounds, and now I'm putting these impressions
Mm.
to a painting.
Mm.
Oh, wow, it's so interesting, right?
Mm.
You walk
Yes.
around, now you bring it into the painting. And during the process, every stroke, of course, under the hot sun and the rain, it can be very painful, but I enjoy it. It's very how to say,
Therapeutic.
therapeutic, yes. Yeah.
Mm.
So some people say, oh, wow, why do you stand in the sun, hot
Yeah.
sun, in the rain? You can tahan. I say, yeah, because I don't feel it. I, I loved it. the process. Every stroke, thousands of strokes to form a painting. And then finally, even while I was painting, I also enjoy people coming to say thank you for doing a good job.
You don't get irritated,
Mm,
like, don't disturb me. I'm in my moment.
ask me to take photo with them, yes, I'm most welcome. I will stop and take a photo with them. I even come down from the ladder and give me a minute, I'll come down the ladder, I'll take a photo with you, and then I climb up again.
You are so personable, you are so people oriented, most of us would be thinking that once you have gotten a name for yourself, right, you most celebrities will become unaccessible.
Don't say I'm not a celebrity.
Oh gosh, very, very humble. Yeah. Which is why it makes this so pleasant. Yeah. Because Aisha also said, I totally agree with her. You still look the same, and you're still equally jovial. Will you consider taking a gap year? A gap year to go back to the corporate world?
Oh,
The other way.
I already answered you. No, because I have already stopped thinking of going back to the corporate world, finance. But I will still dabble if there are opportunities with a little bit of finance on a voluntary basis. I mean, like for example, advisory and here and there, gives talks to students.
Right.
But
Okay.
not to the corporate world.
Okay, you've got
of answering this.
no, that's fine, you've got a comment also on YouTube, audience from India, and that's Akshu Rao says that it's child artist. So this is really interesting as well. Yeah, this is cool. Very, very nice. Okay, so thanks for answering that. I'm going to ask you a very silly question for the sake of our job seekers. All right. So how will you answer this question if or what advice will you give our job seekers, right, to this question, why should I hire you?
Okay, yeah.
If you are being asked that.
You just said that because that question this is probably a hard question because I looked at this only 10 minutes before this.
I know.
I was raising my head, how should I answer this? Okay, if you are attending an interview or seeking a job, you should have already done some homework of what the interviewer is looking for. So you should be prepared to say what the interviewer wants to hear. For example, which should be true from your heart, what you can do. For example, if the interviewer is looking for someone who needs to transform or change the culture of a team, then say that I have the experience and I can help you to transform the culture of the team. Okay. If the interviewer is only looking for someone who is quiet, apolitical, because there's just too much toxic politics in the company, do your work and just go home. Don't be involved in anything. Just say that I'm good at doing my work quietly.
It's interesting how you explain it.
I think that should, because that's what the interviewer would want to hear. Why you want to hire? If the interviewer is looking for someone who is quiet and just do the job and go home, apolitical, and you say, oh, I like to talk, I like to socialize, I like to do many things, I'm very ambitious. I don't think that's what the interviewer is looking for. And if you are that kind of person, then I don't think that you will fit into the role too. Be true to yourself. If you join and you wouldn't fit and that's not what the interview is looking for, you will fail.
Yeah. And right? It's okay not to be selected, right?
Experience of transforming culture of a team, and you say you can, you will, you are doomed for failure too.
Yeah. Don't lie.
Whether I answer your question, but I think you should just do your homework and say what you can do and whether you are really fitting.
Yes, you did absolutely. I think you have raised a couple of points as well. Because one point is about being authentic. Know yourself. Know yourself. Know why people value you. Why people like to have you in the team. You know, and then do your homework in terms of what does the role needs. And just now when you were talking, I interjected a little bit because I was saying that even if someone turns you down, and it's okay because maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe they don't need your kind of either your personality, your thinking, your preference, your work behavior. There's so many things about an individual, right? And why I really wanted to hear from you, because from I think from an artist's point of view, whatever the interest is, we are, it is always the interest that drives us, and it drives us to dig a bit deeper to understand the role a little bit more, and therein lies the commitment. It's the commitment, because we are so interested, we're practically very committed to our trade, to our craft, to whatever that we are really interested in, the passion. Right? Okay, very good. All right, I actually have three questions for you. Last three questions. Yeah. And this is a question that I ask everyone. So first one is, what's your definition of career success?
Career success.
Mm.
If you are happy doing your job in your career, I think you are already successful.
Very nice.
And of course, the happiness are related to several things, like whether your compensation is you feel is enough, yeah, or you really like to do what you're doing, or you get along with your colleagues, you like the environment. All these ties can be tied to your happiness. So I think if you have attained a level of happiness, you are successful.
Very nice. That's a good definition. As long as you're happy in your career, that should be the definition for success. Very nice. Okay, so Yew Chong, which part of your younger self will you bring with you and not change?
So will I bring or already brought? You say
Doesn't matter. Already brought.
Okay. I have answered this question many times actually.
Trick question.
I call myself an explorer. I like adventure. I like to take detours, sidetracks away from the standard path. Or not standard path, the away from the planned path. Of course, you have a rough plan, but be prepared to detour, try new things, explore, and because exploring is my inborn passion too. Like I like hiking, trekking, and do all sorts of things.
Hiking.
Yeah. So I have brought that to not just my career work, even in school, in the army, and I think like some of my ex-colleagues knows, I even brought like my passion for taking photographs while traveling and telling stories and making videos into my work as an accountant.
Indeed.
Yeah. And in a way also help to create buzz to other colleagues to fire up their own passions, which may not be the same as mine.
Wonderful.
It can go parallel. And that's what I have been doing all.
Okay, I've got that. Actually, like a one-word answer is an explorer. So that part of you, you're not going to change. You're going to bring with you. And if there's and advice you're going to give to your younger self? I think this is a very commonly asked question, but I'm going to ask anyway. If there's one piece of advice you're going to give to your younger self, what would this advice be?
While pursuing your career, also spend more time with your family and for yourself too, which I kind of regret. I didn't spend enough time with my family, especially the children when they were growing up. Too
Thanks
late.
for the reminder. They are grown already.
They've grown up.
But I see that you take trips with them, and then they participate in all your mural.
Not all. They only did with it twice.
How old are they right now?
My son is 23. My daughter is 21.
Similar ages. Kids are similar ages. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, so quick. They just grow up like that. Wonderful. This has been great. This is really good. You have already answered all my questions. So I think we are good. I just want to see if there's any questions online. All right. I think most of the questions are already asked. That's wonderful. Cool. So what I want to do is really to thank you as well, Yew Chong. I know it's late and I know you work very late, because Yew Chong, you only answer my text like super late in the night. So I can just imagine you've got a very, very packed schedule. Any parting words to our audience? Parting words,
Parting words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For tonight.
Related to, of course, career. Huh?
Yes, please.
Not
related to, no. Career.
If you are passionate about doing something, okay, in any part of the career, any part of the career, don't hesitate to bring that passion in and integrate it. Go parallel. It won't conflict with your career. In fact, I think it will complement your career. Just like what I have.
Parallel. Yes. And you said, how people have discovered your other talent, and then they kind of ask you to also apply that at work.
Yeah. Create new conversations and inspire other interests. So my ex-boss used my art doing outside in the on the streets in the weekends as I use me as like a poster boy.
So just to answer Aisha's question, I think I know the answer, and that is keep laughing, keep smiling, which is what you do, so that you look the same, and that's what we all ladies want to achieve as well. We all want to look the same, so we'll keep up the same spirit as you have. I just want to share, Yew Chong's pages. So this is what you will see on Facebook. I like his little icon there, right, of his face. I also like, this is what you will see here as well on Instagram. Okay, this is what you will see on Instagram. And then, of course, these are some of his art pieces. It's just too many to show over here, but I really want to encourage everyone to look at Yew Chong as a source of inspiration, because never say never. You never know until you try. And please don't cringe. I cringe too. I cringe at my earlier videos, but it's there as a memory, as a marker to say that we are going on our journey and we are making progress. Because the irony of it is, if we don't have the early proof, then how do we know we are making progress? Okay, very nice. Thank you again, Yew Chong, for your time. I'll let you go have your well-deserved rest. And thank you, audience, for tuning in and also for your comments. And so all the best to everyone. I hope that only good things happen to you, and for all the job seekers as well. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. And remember, imagination is free. Yay! Go forth and imagine. Thanks, Yew Chong.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Cheers.
So I press leave.
Yeah, I'm ending the meeting. Thank